Tricky mate. Hello? What the hell is...
And I'll be playing the 5-minute pool today, like every week, and hoping to do well and to also teach you a little bit about how I'm thinking about chess as I'm playing these blitz games. Let's see who is going to be first. As I offered to play in the 5-minute pool, and let's see what happened recently. I guess the Olympiad is coming in in a few days, Thursday, I believe. Um, so that should be very exciting. And here we go. We have a grandmaster, Castor from Switzerland, I believe, playing this variation against the Richter Raz variation against the 4-Knight Sicilian. And of course, I played this many times against Castor, and yet he continues to play this way many years. So it's really a lot of fun. If you watch our games, Max Dlugy in this variation, you can learn a lot about this opening just by watching them. And Castor plays this quite well for white, but I'm also not a complete pushover. So yeah, this has always been okay. Now I'll play this move the way I played against Castor last time, and castles. Okay. Now I believe last time I played was it h5. Last time I played queen c5. I'm going to do the same, and now a5 to improve my pawns here. This is exactly the position we had last time. Okay, king b1 is a necessary evil. And now black will take on b4, and when I take back, h5 takes, and then rook c4. Yeah, this is going to be difficult to defend, so that's why I think I took this way the last time as well, and moved my queen to b6. Let's see what happens now. Now I think I'm threatening d5 and bishop b4, so I don't have that much time to... yeah, so I'm going to play d5. And rook b3, bishop b4, and hopefully my tactics will work out. We'll have to see what happens, but okay. All right, well, that's okay. I'm going to be in a change up, that's fine. e5 is reasonably interesting. I think e5 makes sense to take with the rook on d5. Yeah, actually I can take with the rook now. Rook b3, bishop takes rook. Then the knight will be hanging. Yeah, I think I can just take here. Okay, now I take here. Okay, this is looking already very losing for white suddenly. Rook b3, yeah? Well, time to really double on the d file. I think rook b3 I can play queen c7, huh? Maybe I should play queen d6. What's white's main idea of the queen d6? I don't see it. And now I was thinking about the move e4, pawn takes, rook takes. Well, it gives me winning endgame, so I'm going to go for it. Gets off a lot of pieces. That's for sure. I'm losing my mouse pad. Let me use this nice book by Larry Evans. That's my mouse pad now. New ideas in chess. Okay, now rook takes rook, bishop takes, bishop b5. Queen c5 check I can play first. Okay, in general, a good position now. How to win it best is another question. I decide to go into this. All right. Fair enough. Let's bring a king up, I guess. Why not, right? Okay, take this guy. And then... let's see. Should I play e4? Let's take this pawn. Okay, I'm just gonna play fast for a while and then see how it goes. Try to move the rook into white's territory somehow. Rook e1, rook g1, something like that. Okay, oh, I forgot about this. Okay, well, let's see. Let's attack this one from this side. Should be winning. But let's see how it goes. Now white will be busy with his... Okay, well, let's take... Okay, let's start forcing white back. Okay. Not letting him go to e4 necessarily. Okay, interesting endgame. I think eventually white will be forced to go back, and some bad king and pawn ending will happen to white. Okay, let's force this. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's go in. Okay, I have no time. That's the problem. No time as usual. Okay, I'm playing badly now. "24 seconds. Okay, finally forcing him back. Now I'm going to force him back again, and then I should be winning with king f4 and rook g3 and rook takes pawn and so forth. Okay. No, come on. My mouse is killing me. Oh no, my mouse is killing me now. Again. Oh yeah. Oh no. And I lost. Oh well, that's too bad. That's too bad, really. That's too bad, yeah. Now I blundered this one. Well, yeah, doesn't feel too bad considering I still couldn't fix my mouth in the last week. I don't know why that happened. I keep forgetting it. My mouse cannot move fast. I'm going to try another mouse pad under it, but this simply cannot move fast. So, well, those are the tricks of the trade. Congratulations, Caster, for drawing this game, but it wasn't very well played for white. Let's see why. So here in the opening, of course, this is very typical, and then when white goes for this plan of stopping d5, I defend the b4 pawn, and white changes the plan to play for the c3 break. Logical. I move my king, and now very important not to let white get this weak b pawn. So I have to take first, and then just sidestep. And now I'm threatening d5, followed by bishop b4. Now, does white have a good continuation against that? I don't know. I'm not sure. But in any case, bishop a4, I think, didn't quite answer the question, because here I think white had to play rook b3 and on bishop b4 some queen move. Let's say maybe e2, let's say. But then the idea was that on pawn takes pawn, there'll be some issues. Okay, this is a very strong grandmaster, I believe. Probably Mikhail Gurevich from the name. Used to be number 6 in the world. Very strong player. And let's see how we do against him in the London. Well, let's attack this pawn for now. Okay, and hit him with our favorite c5. Alright. Okay, now we can make sure our bishop is safe. Okay, and that is a good move. That's a good move by Michael. Alright. I'm going to try to get some more space then. And just move my knight to b3. Alright. f5. Okay. How about we play f3 for now, just to hold it all together. Interesting position. Okay. And bishop g2. Should I play bishop g2? Just rook g1. Maybe rook g1. Just keep my bishop, my light squared bishop on f1, just in case. Okay, knight e4. Okay. Okay, let's bring the knight to a5. Okay, now a good question, how to develop my king, my rook. I guess if I castle queenside, it's okay, it's possible. I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to castle queenside to bring my rook out. No? Okay, that's helpful. That should be helpful transformation. Interesting. Maybe not so bad for black, actually. Although I still prefer my position. Let's bring the king out. And let's improve my pawn structure a little bit. Okay. King e3, I suppose, is possible, but let me take instead. And take here as well. See how black recaptures. Okay, decide to do it this way, huh? Okay, well, let's get rid of this bishop. Looks to me position's about equal, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe white is better. Should I go with the rook? I'm going to go rook e1 because I want to sacrifice on e4. It should give me an advantage, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Take, take, take. All right, let's wait a little bit. Let's wait to sacrifice. See if black decides to win a pawn. That may be a better deal for me than sacrificing myself. Sacrificing a pawn on h3 rather than this. First, then I always have a draw with rook h7, rook h8, but after rook h7 I'll have knight takes b7. So actually rook h3 is a bad move here because at the end I'll have rook h1, knight moves rook h7, and king d8, knight takes b7. Basically winning. So let's see how black can improve now his position. And I can maybe improve knight b3, knight d2. Okay, black correctly tries to move the knight to that position. Okay, taking now makes some more sense. Knight b3, rook h7. Alright, let's go. Let's move my king in. Okay, and now let's go rook f6 to take the pawn on e6. And rook g7 to take the pawn on g5. Okay, wait, I can take the pawn on e6 though. What a complicated ending. I can also do this. Wow. I must be misplaying it somehow. It's too difficult to play it correctly. Trump. Now what? Now let's defend our h pawn. Okay. Oh boy. Interesting. Okay, time to move. Complicated position. Okay. Damn. Oh no. I don't think I saw that move. I don't think I saw that move at all. This is bad. This is bad. Oh my god. Oh my god. Am I losing? I guess so. Yeah. Just lost by a tempo. And this is very, very bad. Oh, I'm sneaking away. Ah, and I made it. Okay, well, I guess it's all's fair. I drew this one, I didn't win the other one. 2 draws against 2 tough grandmasters. While commenting on this very difficult game. Okay, I obviously overplayed my hand at some point. Mikhail was very, very smart in dealing with this. He put his, look at what he does. He puts his bishop here first before moving the knight. Because actually the idea, the trick here is, of course, if black moves the knight first and then tries to go with the bishop, then of course I can take and use this back rank sedation to win the game. He does it in this very insidious way. He puts the bishop out first and then goes bishop c7, so there's no b5 trick. Tough. And I decided to just let it hang. Okay, now we had this really tough endgame, which I thought was about equal, but then I wanted to go for more. So here, at some point, it was just, I just felt the urge to sacrifice. I mean, I could have played somewhat differently, but how exactly? Black is going king c8, and then still rook h7. So I don't want to be in a defensive position. Maybe I should play rook f1. That was probably the way to go. Anyway, did not happen. A draw, very fighting draw. Basically, black did not have time to meet me when he did everything correctly, everything right. Avoided all my pitfalls and tricks and trades. Well, that's what happens sometimes. Okay, let's see how this game goes. Okay, black is trying to get e5 in. I'm going to stop it for now, for as long as I can, and then take the center and go with that. Okay, well, that's nice. I don't mind that at all. Now the big question is bishop h4 or just back with the bishop. I think just back with the bishop. But c1 or d2? All the way. All the way. h6. Okay. I don't mind forcing h6. Even if that's an extra move for black. Okay, I suppose this is now an interesting situation where black got this Philidor with h6 in, so he's not afraid of knight g5, but on the other hand, black is still passive with a knight on d7, so I shouldn't really mind that as well. And h6 will enable me to play one day knight h4 f5 without too much too much preparation, let's put it this way. Okay, let's go a4 to stop d5. Already knight h4 is looking interesting. I'll wait. And bring the bishop out. Okay, I guess bishop takes, although knight takes looks also quite nice. Then I'll probably have to play f3. I'll take with the bishop. Looking to play e5 at some point too. Okay, that's stopped e5. Okay, let's move the pawn up a little bit more to anticipate moves like b5 coming up. Okay, no reason to exchange yet. Now, let's think. Just now it's okay to take a little bit. And maybe move my knight to where I wanted to do it, to go all along, f5, yeah? I mentioned the f5 square a while back, and I wasn't actually kidding. Suppose black could go knight c4 to attack my a5 pawn, and then I'll have to decide whether I should play b4 or a6. Maybe a6. And then b3. Okay, he takes another route. Here's my knight. Okay, and now my knight can defend this g pawn from g3. The pawn from g3, I mean. Just got another weakening in there. Not bad. All in a day's work. Alright, time to connect my rooks. And f4, f5 is an idea here for white now, to open up black's king side. Next step. Next step. Okay, that's a serious decision. I'm gonna go keep my bishop for now, and probably let's try to get the bishop to do something more than just stand there. Threatening, okay. Now knight d5. We'll play rook a d1. That does threaten the pawn, right? These all my pieces are working for sure now. d6 is threatened. And on knight d5, bishop takes knight. Makes sense to me because that bishop on the dark squared bishop is now a big pawn all of a sudden. Now my knight can go to e3. But maybe I should play knight d5 immediately to swap them. No, probably knight f1 first. Okay, now knight e3, black probably just takes. So now knight d5. Makes sense to me. And let's defend that knight nicely and solidly. Alright, en passant. Okay, now rook a1, I suppose, to try to get the other file. Aha. Okay, obviously not opening up the bishop. That would be silly. And now rook to the 7th. Send that in. Keep it in there. Make the knight go in. Not allow, obviously, bishop h6 pinning my knight. And I'll keep those rooks on good positions. Keep sending the knight into good stuff. Okay, now already, what happens on rook a6? Maybe just rook a3 wins the queen, no? Something quite serious here with rook b3 as a threat. Position's quite bad for black. Oh, and he resigned, right? Yes, well, not surprising. Black simply resigned. How nice. I guess he trusted me here. So what happened here? It wasn't clear how fast black's position fell apart, but at some point it just did, right? I mean, I think white's just a little bit better most of the way through. Not even sure the whole way through. I basically used this h6 weakness to put my knight here. That's, you could basically equate those two things. And of course, when black plays g6, then the plan for f4 f5 becomes reasonably strong. So black decided to punish, to get me out of there before I play f4 f5. I moved out, but then there are other problems. The d6 pawn. Now black moves out, but then I hit it again, and he feels compelled to go knight e5, and then of course black has to create this really bad bishop, and my knight is coming to d5. Now I started by sending the other knight in, but then knight d5, and then I was a little bit, I didn't really like playing c4. Maybe even f3 is better, but okay. But this clearly creates a distinction between this knight and this bishop. And after rook a1, my threat was to come in here. I think black had to play rook a8. This was a mistake because it actually creates this nice situation where I have a rook always on the outside of the board coming, looking in, basically. And then my knight started to go for this square, and suddenly black is in dire straits. I'll defend against rook b3, rook d6, rook b7. There's knight d6. There's no even move to defend against rook b3 except to play queen b4. But then this position is pretty dramatically bad for black, I think. Something like this, b5, knight b6. I don't know, knight b6, I guess. Rook b7, knight c8, rook e8, rook d1. Okay, I mean, black didn't feel like this was a good position to play. I can't argue with that. Can't argue with success. Alright, here we go. And let's grab that pawn. Let's see what Da Silva was about winning it back. I'm gonna defend it as far as I can, as long as I can. How to win that pawn back? Big question. The normal move b6 unfortunately doesn't quite work, because I have bishop takes knight and I check on b5 or a4, and you cannot interpose with a piece. So it becomes a really tough position. Yeah, so black simply says, alright, now how do I make a move? What move do I play now? So on b6, I want to be playing, and I guess I should play queen b3. All right. And knight f3. Okay, now rook c1. Why not? Okay, I'm gonna take this and hit the e4 pawn. Even this position is extremely complicated. Lots of possibilities for counterattack here by black. So it's all very, very close, let's put it this way. But e4 is still hanging, and I am a pawn up. And now I'm almost developed. One more move to go. Just one more castling to do at one point. Another. Of course, it's a much tougher position for black. He's a pawn down, and no matter how I recapture, he's going to be pawn down. Now, how should I recapture? Should I recapture with the knight? Hopefully finishing my development. Black plays queen d3. I take with the queen. If I take with the rook, okay, let's take with the rook. Take with the rook. Then on queen d3, I could even take knight. No, I couldn't take knight takes. What would I do? Well, I play rook c3. That's what I would do. That would be a strong move, actually. Very, very strong. So I'm going to take with a rook. Queen d3, rook c3. Killer. A complete killer. There it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Queen d5. I missed that. Ay, ay. Now what's going to happen? Ay, 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 ay. Oh, you missed it too. Oh my god. Now it's all over. Queen b5, and it's a fight. This is not even close now. 2 pawns down. Oh, I can't play f5. It's pinned. Okay, resignable. But yeah, queen b5 and it's still a fight. See? Okay, now he's preparing his f5. Let me disable it. And I'm not afraid of f5. In fact, I'm thinking of knight f7 myself. Okay, maybe I should make a luft. A free luft. Jesus. Alright, okay, let's continue walking in on black's position here. Bishop b5 is a threat. Stopped it. Nice. Should I open it up with f4? Oh, no need. Some of these positions, I don't even know. I'm just going to play a little bit cat and mouse game. A little bit of a cat and mouse game here. h5, just to take some space. Those are the toughest to meet. In winning positions, you don't do anything, that's all. Okay, well now with the rook there, I'm going to open it up. That's a little bit too many pieces on that diagonal. One too many. Oh boy. Well, I'm going to take that protected pass pawn on the c file. That's a good deal, I think. All right, now knight b7, knight f5. Okay, I'm gonna just play knight f5 to trade queens. That's all. That's all I really need to win this game, is to trade queens. I don't need anything else. Yeah. Oh, there's the queen trade. And there's a win of a piece. And that's that. And okay. All right. I mean, that was kind of a straightforward game, except for one little thing. Okay, after bishop e7, it's actually really hard to figure out what the best move is without kind of a good computer to help you out. I played queen b3 to protect this b4 pawn and to stop b6 forever, and black castled, but knight e4 was obviously something that I had to consider. And then I would play knight f3 to play bishop e5, but you know, that's complicated. So here, already after bishop f6, rook c1, I was expecting black to take on d2, like for example knight d2, knight d2, e5, bishop g3, d4. Now, I understand the threats aren't that strong because I can play bishop c4 here, and on takes, I can even take with a queen, maybe, but why? I can just take with a pawn, and I'm a pawn up, and when eventually I castle, not immediately because knight's hanging, I will be pressing on the f7 square. So looks like I'm better. Now black didn't do that. He played knight c6, allowing me to take and hit this new target. And then he played this very quickly. And okay, this was a big choice. How to take with the queen, the knight, or the rook. Tough choice. I thought I saw the ended all move, the rook c3 move, missing that when the queen gets here, it can actually go down this diagonal. Now queen a6 is probably not that great because of b5, snapping up a piece. But queen b5, what to do on that? I don't know. I mean, I suppose a3 is possible. And e4 is still hanging, but let's say black improves the position with rook d8. Okay, can I even take knight e4? Or this is going to be subject to this kind of a big deal sacrifice. And now I don't think I'm better. Probably not losing though to knight d6 or something, but I don't think I'm better. So maybe I'm better. Rook d7, rook a3. I don't know. Anyway, queen b5 is the move, and after black failed to play it, it was pretty much over. Black played queen d8, and I just started taking everything. Castles, black can't even play f5, he prepares it, but now my knight finds a better square on d6. f5 now is met with knight f7 check, and I'm just walking over black's position, just complete walk in the park here. Now opened it up, and now with this diagonal opened, black cannot escape from the exchange of queens, which is all I really care about. I'm 2 pawns up with a protected passed pawn on c6. Why would I care about anything else? And boom, I win a piece and black resigns. Okay, where's my next opponent, my friends? I'm on a roll. I'm 2 in a row. After 2 draws with grandmasters, I beat 2 masters with nice style, reasonably nice style, although missing queen e3. Okay, and here we have someone who is lower rated than usual. Let's put it this way. Let's see if we can deal with that situation. Alright, I'm going to play like Kiriakin did against Magnus. Just going to play very obvious moves. Okay. Alright. And really, all I care about is a bishop. If I can get a bishop. Oh, is this right? 94? Queen e1. That's something I did not expect. That's not good. Alright, well, let me try to put the bishop on a6 then. Easier done than said, I would say. Finally did snatch a bishop out of all this. And maybe even an exchange. Come to think of it, here's an exchange. Not so bad. Opening it up. Sure. I want to open it up. I'm up in exchange. Well, that's my exchange. And okay, now the bishop should come to b7 to guard against all kinds of nastinesses. Okay, and what? e6 knight d5 or just knight d5? Rook c8 first. Let's play rook c8, and then when the rook goes to f1, then knight d5 is what I was thinking. And let's just do it then. Let's just do it. Knight f7 probably wins back a pawn, but I'm not sure if that's going to be what white wants in that ending. Yeah, oh, okay, it is what white wants, so he can have it. Everything gets over the board. e4, I don't see e4. I thought black is going to play something else. Okay, e6 then. I thought queen f3. Okay, now we get more stuff off the board. Queen f6 gets even these guys off. That's nice. Oh, shoot. Well, that's okay. Pawn takes pawn. Oh, no pawn takes pawn. I was going to take the pawn on f3, but I don't have to do that. This is gone. This is off. And this is game over, pretty much. This is not even as difficult as my draw against Castor. This is very easy. My king walks in and just starts taking pawns. Well, okay, now what? Now what? Okay, let's think about it. Let's think about it. Let's prepare g5. I don't want any pawns to be on white squares unnecessarily. Oh, plus g4 is a nice bonus. Yeah, let's bring the pawn to g4. That actually makes some sense. And then g3, right? Now white's getting impatient. That's the worst thing you can do in an ending like this. Is to get impatient. Okay, well, he got so impatient he resigned. Okay, we don't have time to look at that since my opponent already accepted. And let's see how that goes. Just in chess. Good luck. Bishop f4 this. And d3 again. Alright. Let's move out. See if we can improve my game with Mikhail Gurich. Probably threatening bishop takes knight. Tough one, huh? Justin, it's tough. You have to know what you're doing here. The next move shouldn't be so difficult. It's either really knight d7 probably, or a6. Yeah, good. Good. b4. Okay, I'm gonna play h3 to safeguard my knight again. Well, okay, well now black's knight's on f6, so it's not that defense that Mikhail used is not going to be workable. So it's going to be tougher for black than if the knight were in g8. Okay, and especially after this one, which doesn't actually help black. Where's my knight going to b3 and a5? Ooh, feisty. Okay, no problem. Now what? Knight e5 is in the air. It's a tough threat. Alright, let's also play g4. Now bishop d6 is a possibility since black lost so much time. Yeah, I like bishop d6 just to stop black from castling. And this is the trick. This is the trick I mentioned before. Black is not completely lost. All of a sudden I was kind of playing for that trick. Although, of course, it's hard to deal with bishop d6. In any case. Okay, well, take on a6, I suppose. Okay, now, okay, on rook a6, knight, rook b8, knight a5, rook b2, knight c6 check. Well, I'm going to go for it. Looks pretty cool. Okay. Now, I should just finish development, I guess. Bishop b5 or bishop b2? Bishop b2, I guess. Bishop b2. Alright, now knight b5. Knight a5, knight b5 now. And I was thinking knight a7 to defend my knights on threat and c6. Because all my knights are protecting every square down the line here with this. This one, okay, then rook b6 is possible, but I can also bring my rook back. Which one? Which one should I go for? Rook b6 actually forces the trade, but then can that pawn? No, I don't think that pawn's going to make it on its own, so I'm going to bring my rook back to defend the 8th rank, or 1st rank rather. Alright. Should I play bishop d3 now? Suppose so. Bishop d3 it is. Rook b2 I can probably just cancel. How does this work? Takes. Takes. Oh, this looks like the c pawn is about to queen. Plus, look at this beautiful knight there on h1. Okay, let's calculate. Knight d6. This just looks right. This simply looks right. And now c6. Rook c2. King d1. Yeah, that wins. There are no good squares on the c file for black to accommodate his rook. That's the winning move. And then rook d2, rook c3, king d2. Suddenly I'm hitting the rook and the knight. Yeah, well, that's the best. Yeah, let's grab that. Okay, now to make it tougher. So knight's coming to g3. But then where's it going? Then it's going to e4, right? Let's catch it. Let's catch it. Well, then knight c6. Knight c6. Okay, now knight e7, rook c1. Rook c1. Very interesting stuff, huh? Fine, let's just play descending. Which one should I go for? I should go for the g6 pawn, because then the h6 pawn also is lost. All these pawns are lost. Already it's pretty hopeless ending. Okay, well, h4 I suppose. Let's go back. Keep my king around here. That's better. Okay. And now bring the king up. Okay, now I'm sorry. King is going up now, not down. Let's keep moving. Rook h6. King e5. Things are happening. Yeah, this was a tough game, but you could see some things different versus my game with Mikhail Gurevich, and that is that Black put the knight here a little early, and immediately the problems are huge. Yeah, this was a tricky. This was a tricky move to stop the Black from castling, and really anticipating bishop c7, in which I can take and play b5. This is a move that wins material, because of course of this rook a8 check. Whenever Black takes, if Black takes this way, knight takes, rook c6, knight d6 check, even knight a5 is just completely crushing. The rook a8 check is still coming. So once that happened, where are we? Once that happened, Black simply gave up the pawn, which was actually a logical thing to do. There was nothing else. And now it gets a little tricky because I still have to develop. And Black's got the knight and the bishop coming at me a bit. But it's hard against the c5 pawn to really create serious counterplay. I went for the most aggressive line, and oh my god, okay. Come back with Mikhail Gurevich and see if he can beat me up, or maybe I get him. Let's see. Interesting final game of today's show. Let's say a showdown against former number 6 in the world. And there he goes with his favorite move, c4. She had a tournament game. It was when he played c4. It was very, very complicated. Ended in a perpetual check where I should have probably played for a win. I couldn't figure it out. Well, let's see what he does here. And my recently acquired pet line against the classical King's Indian. All right. Here we go. This is all theory, of course. A4 is in the air. There's a funny line here beginning with queen takes pawn, a4, queen a3, and Black equalizes, but it's got to be a little bit careful. I always hope I remember these things when they come up, by the way. I don't really remember it all. Gonna have to play it by ear. Anyway, he's thinking, which means that something can be said about him as well, something similar, like he doesn't remember this well. That's fine, and there he goes, takes Aha, c5 is not supposed to be as good. And probably queen b4. Here's the move. I missed that. Although it's far from clear, because I have knight takes c5. And of course I have knight takes e4 as well, but I think I actually played, someone actually played like this against me before. Okay, reasonable position for black. Knight e6, knight h5, a3, and then knight e6. That's probably the best of them all. Knight e6. Now knight h5 looks reasonable. We'll play g3 though. So maybe knight d7. Knight h5, g3. Yeah, I'm gonna do this, although I'm not quite sure it's good. I'm not quite sure it's the best. Let's put it this way. Oh, it didn't stop it. That's really strange. I'm gonna try to trick him. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't, but I did already. I mean, try. No. Okay, now what? Wants to go rook d7. They're worth it. Alright, well, I gotta get rid of this guy. But bishop f8 maybe first. Bishop f8. I like bishop f8 somehow. To give me pass pawn. Yeah. Maybe I can use the c file for my pieces. Okay. Strange. I think I have to do this. I'm sorry. I don't like to, but I think I do. I think I have to do it. Now, either rook d8, g3. Yeah, rook d8, g3. And d8. I'll win that pawn with knight f4, but I don't think I'll be winning here. I think we'll be just equalish. Well, Tough game. That forces a draw if I want it. I'm not sure I have anything more. So I'm going to offer a draw. And my opponent accepted it. Well, tough to beat Mikhail Gurich. He was always one of the best Blitz players back in the day. And it was a pleasure playing, and it was a pleasure playing him on this show. And of course, to all of you, thank you for watching. Take it to the Max Show with Grandmaster Max Dlugy. Hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. So all the best to you, and I'll see you next week when I'm on the air again. Come and join me.